Namaste, Jai Bharat. For 2026, Bharat is heading the BRICS, and we are going to have BRICS in New Delhi. All the meetings we plan to do it in Bharat, and we have in a space, good places. And this time it's in Delhi, and interestingly, the time chosen for BRICS meeting is a time when US President is in China. And as a matter of fact, President Trump is rather helpless. He has to go to China and get their support to end the Strait of Hormuz crisis. The time chosen for BRICS meeting in Bharat is to be thought of, is to be understood. I am not going to speak on it beyond this point. But then what happens in China is interesting. President Trump is there in China. His wish is to somehow neutralize the Strait of Hormuz lockout or blockade. So many things are happening. Actually, it is the IRGC who are fundamentally not very coordinated, not very disciplined, not very organized in the sense of a political understanding, in the sense of a statecraftedness or statesmanship. They're not that state-crafted people with understanding of international relations. They're just something larger than a terrorist group, and nothing more and nothing less. That's what I would like to speak about IRGC. That's how I understand IRGC. And Iran needs it in the sense, Iran with the previous Khomeini regime, there are proxies all over the world, Houthis and Hamas and Hezbollah and many smaller, larger groups. So they had this, they were manufacturing this kind of vermins within them, and those vermins will have their impact on their army, which is IRGC, and they themselves turn into a larger vermin, but under the name of Iran as a nation. But it's not very legitimate. So long as this regime continues, it will appear to be a nation, but then not in the real sense of the term. That at the moment there is a possibility of if there is a possibility of regime change. I am unable to speculate in that direction. Will there be a regime change in Iran? Although most people in the world would wish for that, but then there is nothing in the vicinity. But if there is a regime change and a possibility of democracy, all those people will become null and void at once. They will become null and void. But so long as it doesn't happen, this kind of drama, dilly-dally things would go on, and no one can help it. The change has to happen from within Iran, a nation with their own history, their own tradition, etc., etc., etc. I need not speak, which people know. So this has to be under the control for Trump. He somehow wants to end the war because he probably loses more than what he gains from this war, but he's a very master kind of a businessman. He would ensure that he makes profit, but then that doesn't compensate the kind of loss he has in the war. That's clear and plain. And IRGC, they're not a responsible kind of organization. They don't care for the people. They don't care for whatever happens to the nation. They don't even care for themselves as a human being living here. They all that they care for shall be a life after death. So they would keep on doing such things because these things makes no difference to them. So long as the situation with IRGC is this, it's not just possible for one to defeat them until you completely destroy them. The point is, Trump would give in if IRGC is willing to give the enriched uranium to directly America, if not then someone with their kind of understanding, and they might even pay for that. So with that, the things would ease. But then IRGC is so dumb-headed, they would not go for any compromise. They will continue because they are sure of the possibility of a life after death. So they don't care about this kind of things. They don't care about dying. They don't care about blasting themselves, and all the series of stories. So this is the situation, and then probably China US wants. There's a possibility of a bargain between China and US. That is simply this. US could say to China that you stay off Iran. Then China could easily ask US, you stay off Taiwan. So if US stays off Taiwan, then of course Trump can legitimately say to China, stay off Iran. The other kind of help which Pakistan gives is not very serious. Pakistan can be snubbed. Pakistan by default and structurally is one group of people. I don't want to even call them as a nation because they don't behave like a nation at many points in time. They would do anything for money. So money speaks, and money is a language which they understand and nothing else. Obviously nothing else. They will say so many stories about anything, starting from religion to any kind of things. So this could be a possible bargain between Trump and Xi Jinping, that you leave Iran and I would leave Taiwan, provided US is willing to leave Taiwan and China has nothing to lose. They have promised, US has promised a lot of things to China, millions of investments with this thing and that thing, etc. That's of course mutually benefiting US. Cheap production. Their own companies can go for cheap production. Let's see how things work out with their kind of talks. It's good if things turn out to be good. It's not good if things doesn't turn out to be good, because whatever may be the ego clash or whatever may be the so-called Munirian kind of ideology clash between both our people, the general people, common people who like to live a common life, they are at the receiving end and they suffer. And in the real sense, no one really is bothered of a common man. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat and Jai Sri Ram.